All right, starting with D1. So what this page is saying is that another use for exponential functions is going to be through carbon dating. So every living thing has a certain amount of carbon inside of it, and as years pass, the amount of carbon decreases. So after 5,730 years, only half of the amount of carbon will remain. So by checking how much carbon an object has, we can see how old it is. And it's been used to figure out like fossils and ancient items. So suppose that an object starts off with 100 grams of carbon. How much after a half-life has passed, how much carbon will remain? Well, half of it will remain, so it'll be 50 grams. And if another 5,700 years pass, or 11,000 years, only half of that will remain, so 25 grams. So as more years pass, the amount of carbon slowly decreases. So let's go and make a graph. Again, I'm starting off with 100 grams of carbon, and after the first year, half of it's gone. So if I made a sketch, it should look something like this. Right? And slowly decreases. So the equation for this would be I'm starting off with 100 grams of carbon, and as years pass, again, it's all getting cut in half, 0.5. Okay. D3. So talking about half-life can help us understand positive and negative exponents. So for example, when x equals 0, notice that my height of the function is 100, which makes sense, right? If 0 years had passed, I still have all of the carbon inside of me. If I went backwards, again, going forward, notice how I'm cutting it in half. So going backwards would be getting bigger. Notice that -1, I'm at 200. Sorry if I can get this to line up. Yeah, -1, we're at 200. So we're at 200. All right, so going backwards, we're doubling. So if I keep doubling, if I go backwards one more time, then going backwards, I would be at 400. Okay. Give me 5 minutes. All right. So for here, when I have 0, again, I'm going to have 1 as my starting amount. If I have -1, again, going forward, I'm cutting half. But for half-life, when I go backwards, I'm doubling. So you can think of negative exponents as when we have a negative exponent, we are flipping the fraction. So here, if I flip this over, 1 over 2 becomes 2 over 1, which is just 2. But don't forget, we also have to square it. So the negative part flips it over. And then we still have to square a number. So 2 squared is 4. Here, 3 is already on top. So if I flip it over, it's 1/3. But don't forget, we also have to square it as well. So 3 squared is 9. And for this last one, if I flip it over, again, the negative part flips it over. And then you square each of these parts. 3 squared is 9. 4 squared is 4. Okay. So one last set. Again, here I'm flipping it over. 1 over 5 becomes 5 on top. Here, 5 over 8, if I flip it over, it's 8 over 5. Right here, I'm going to flip it over, so 3 is on top. But don't forget, I also have to square it. Again, the negative part flips it over. Then I need to square it. 3 squared is 9. If I flip this over, 3 on top, 2 on the bottom. But I need to square it, or cube it, sorry. 3 times 3 times 3 is 27. 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. All right, and then again, if I flip this over, b is on top, a squared is on the bottom. So to answer our focus question, what are some word examples of exponential growth? We see exponential growth in tables, in bank accounts. When we earn interest. We also see it in carbon dating, in fossils, and relics. Okay. So for the last one, if you guys want to double check your review and preview, we're starting off with $125,000. Again, 100% plus 6.25% is 106.25. But I need to change that to a decimal. Okay. So if I copy and paste this, after 23 years, I earn about $504,000. Okay, again, here I have a half-life starting with 12,000 carbon. Cut down in half is 600, and half 300, and half and half. So here I'm starting at 1,200, and cut in half it's 600. Okay. And for the last one, again, 100% minus 60% is 40%. Right, that's 0.4 as a decimal. So if it starts at $80, keep multiplying by 0.4. Take that, multiply by 0.4. Take that, multiply by 0.4. And take that, multiply by, take the previous one and multiply by 0.4. Okay, so I have $80 and I keep multiplying by 0.4. Alright, if you still have questions about the investigation, let me know. You guys can always send me an email.